everyone, in today's video I'll be showing you how I drew this leopard using charcoal pencils. Now for this one I'll be using the Derwent charcoal pencil set, and in the set you get the light, medium and dark charcoal pencils as well as a white tinted charcoal pencil, and I'll be using this little brush just to blend my charcoal as I work through the piece. And that's what the packaging looks like. So for this one I'm using a toned paper. This is a grey toned paper that will just help me as I'm adding layers of charcoal. It can actually, I won't be fighting against the white of paper, and also having some of that grey show through, which will help me when I'm adding my different values and tones to the paper. So you can see I'm going in with the dark charcoal pencil, and I'm just basically covering all the areas that are the darkest areas. So I'm covering the shadows in the eyes, blending that out with the brush just to soften it, and then I'm just going through the areas around the eyes as well as the spots. And I am basically softening it up and blending it with the brush, but I am going to come to later and refine those and really get some of those sharper color in. I'm just basically at the moment trying to just get all those spots covered so that I know where everything is, and then I can start building up my layers and darkening areas and adding more values depending on the reference photo. Now for this one, I actually had the drawing done on a separate piece of paper just to avoid any erasing marks on my actual toned paper. So I drew it on a separate piece of paper, regular photocopy paper, and then I used white transfer paper to transfer it onto the toned paper. If you don't have white transfer paper, you can use a white chalk pencil, because if you just dab the chalk pencil with a kneaded eraser, it will basically disappear and it won't stain your paper. So you can use that option if you don't have white transfer paper. But I just use the separate drawing and then draw it and then transfer it with white transfer paper. It just is better because I don't have a lot of pencil lines and pencil strokes on the paper. But if you are using the chalk method or chalk pencil method, just keep a light hand as you are drawing. So now you can see I've started adding in the white areas or the lighter areas. Now I'm paying close attention to my reference photo. Now the reference photo that I was using is a royalty-free reference photo, and it was in color. So I did change it to a grayscale just so that I can see all the different values, and then I'm using that photo to do this drawing with the charcoal pencils. So you can see I've smoothened out or softened all that pencil that I added on. We are going to really come through a little later and refine those and get them more sharp. You can see I went through, after blending the ears and getting the different tones on the ears, I did come through with the white pencil and really bring out some of those sharper hairs of the fur. And now I'm just basically getting the body, just working on the body area with the spots and some of the hairs, and also softening that and blending it out with the brush. Now with charcoal, it's important to remember to keep your hand off the paper because you can actually smudge and basically create smudges all over your paper. So try to keep your palm and fingers away from the paper as you're working, just so that you don't smudge, because charcoal does smudge. So I'm looking, throughout this piece, I'm looking closely at my reference photo, and I'm working through section by section, looking at the values, looking at the areas that need to go darker, looking at the areas that need to be lighter, and really coming through back and forth and looking at what needs to be refined. That's very important to pay close attention to your reference photo when you're doing any drawing, especially if you want to create a realistic looking drawing. And by adding the correct tones and values to your drawing, you'll create that depth and you'll create that three-dimensional look, which will make your work look more realistic. Another tip also to remember is when you are working on with a charcoal drawing, when you are done, if you have any smudges of charcoal, you can use a kneaded eraser to lift that up just so that it lightens it up so it's not going to show on your final piece, as well as using a fixative. So find a fixative that is suitable for charcoal pencil, and then try it out on a separate piece of paper first, just to see whichever brand that you're able to get, see if it doesn't stain or leave any marks on toned paper, especially because this is toned paper. Use it, see how it works, And if you see it doesn't have any problem on that little piece of scrap paper with the charcoal, then you can go ahead and spray it onto your final piece, and that will just keep your image from smudging, and your drawing will be kept, basically be protected from getting smudged and basically ruined. So it's very important to use fixative when you're done with your charcoal drawing, just to protect it, basically to seal in all the charcoal. You can see I'm just going back and forth, refining the eyes, refining the areas of the fur. I went through all the spots again, darkening them up. Also paying close attention to the direction of the fur, because as you draw in the strokes of the fur or the spots, those spots need to move in the direction the fur is growing. So all of that you need to pay close attention to when you are doing any drawing. So I'm also going to be using the Mars Lumograph black pencils. I'm using the 6B. Now the reason I'm using this pencil in addition to the charcoal pencils is that I just want to add some of those really fine hairs of the fur on especially the lighter areas, and just really refine those and get them really sharp and crisp. So that's the only reason I'm using these pencils. So I guess that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to like and share. Feel free to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Till the next one, bye.